Okay, today's the day. We're gonna change the shell, swap the buttons, put the new lens on. You can, if you want to look closely, this is a really good condition Game Gear. It's got a little bit of dust, but it's been primarily in a box. The switches all look good, the port is clean, the little inside of the barrel connector is completely straight and upright, the wheel is just fine, everything is great. The stickers are pretty much intact. I put batteries in it, and it's doing this funky thing where the lines are rolling. I don't even know if you could see it. I don't know if it's a matter of the cartridge. Yeah, I just don't know. Ultimately, not in this video, ultimately I will also swap capacitors, and I'm also going to be putting in the new screen kit from RetroKai.store. But today's video, like I said, is just going to be the shells, the button, the lens. Oh, and also the Clean Power GG. All of this is from RetroSix. Technically, RetroKai got me their package first, and then RetroSix's package of stuff arrived. However, I want to do RetroSix's first because it's simpler, A, and B, I want to kind of do like an in-depth video on the screen itself, and I feel like I want to give it a certain amount of attention. This one is just going to be fun, loosey-goosey. It doesn't take much to take out screws and swap parts, as it were. So let's get down to it. I might speed up some parts, you know, just have some music, a little montage-y. Let's go. We got the Game Gear. We got the shell itself. We've got all the parts, including the RetroKai.store screen kit is in here, but I'm not going to use that yet. And all the tools I could possibly need. Let's get right into it. It's worth mentioning, like I said in this video, I think that there's also something else from the RetroSix that I'm not going to be putting in this time. I want to do a video with a shell swap. I want to do a video of the screen. Oh, the capacitors. Yes, they supplied the capacitors too. However, I'm not going to be doing that in this video. That's pretty heavy-handed too. I'm just swapping out the stuff. Ooh, that's not the right one. SNES, or Nintendo and Sega have different game bit drivers. There we go. In this video, I will not be doing the capacitors, just swapping the shell. I think that's the only one that's an actual security bit. Take all these out. Yeah, that's right. I buy my batteries from Target. And I put them in here when I had fingernails. Trimmed my fingernails last night, and this kind of hurts. Here we go. Hopefully that's the most painful part of this video. Now let's swap over to an actual... I don't know why I grabbed that. An actual Phillips head. So yeah, you need... I believe the one that is... Yeah, you need the 4.5 bit for the Game Gear. Oh no. Okay. Oh no. Alright. Well, I tried to use my Hilti thing, but looks like I can only use it for the security bit. I'm going to move over to an actual thinner screwdriver because this hole is not terribly wide. But I have so many screwdrivers with so many different tips that it is hard to actually find one in this bag. It's just a regular old Phillips. Hopefully this one will do. The tip is really thin, but... Oh. No, it's so tight. I'll try this one. Come on, buddy. There it is. Found it. Got it. Okay. Notice I put the security bit there. I'm going to put all the other 5 or so in this spot. Maybe 6, 7. Good gravy. There's very little blemishes with this thing. It's almost like somebody bought it and like took it out of the box it was in, pitched the box and the materials inside, and just kept the thing itself. I mean, like in storage or something. All right. And I got new tweezers too. I got like a 4 or 5 pack of tweezers from my grocery store of all things. They had some random sale going on of like stuff that they don't normally sell, and there were a pack of tweezers. It's not out all the way. This for sure is the first time this has ever been taken apart. It is kind of interesting though. I never noticed, and anybody can correct me here if I'm wrong, I have no problem being wrong, but I've never seen any kind of like security, like void stickers or anything on these. It seems to be, what, like a Sony thing? And maybe a Microsoft thing for sure. I've not ever seen Sega and Nintendo do that thing with the security stuff. Alright. Looks to be the last 2 screws here. Now I know that when you, I believe anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen any kind of disassembly tutorial myself, just kind of winging it, but I think when you take the screws out and you go to open this shell up, that there's a very sensitive ribbon cable when bringing them open. It's always, there you go, it's always worth assuming that there's going to be a sensitive ribbon cable when you're opening anything, and just gently open it slowly. All right. Well, there she is. Oh man, it is. This is the cleanest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a good thing I'm filming this in 4K. I'm going to cut the video here in just a second so I can set this down and just reassess and clean everything up here. But dude, seriously? I don't see any capacitors leaking. Maybe it was just the cartridge. I don't know if the capacitors just go out and they don't necessarily leak. They just don't work any longer. I'm not quite certain how that all pans out. But you can see the 2 cords that are connecting the front and back half. I'm just going to go ahead and pull those out, and then this is where I'll cut this half of the video, or this part of the video. Ooh, little bitty guy right here. Oh, come on. Shit. I mean, poo. Just in case there's children watching. This video is not made for children. Shit. I'm guessing it's for the headphone? No, it's got a gray and a black. It is very tight. I'm very terrified of tearing those two little cords. Yes, I have a spudger. I could get underneath it. Let me try that. Nope, you can't get underneath that. There's no way, because there's stuff on both sides of it. Come on, buddy. Got these tweezers, but none of them have the leverage that they need, because there's not a whole lot of room right here. Can I just do both at the same time? Ha! Ha ha! Okay. Woo! Nerve-wracking part aside, we're in. Okay, it's a bit cleaned up here. I was just kind of looking over it, and yeah, this thing is very, very pristine. Like, there's no way a child ever used this. Maybe like a college student bought it or something and then like never played it or was gifted to them. I put the first fingerprint in here. There's no crud on the inside edge of these things. Like, holy shit. This is I expected to have to do some cleaning. And for those of you wondering, like, so wait, you're gonna put the shell on here, you're gonna put it all together, and then in another video you're gonna open it up and put the screen in and then close it back up, and then in another video you're gonna open it again and put the capacitors in? Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna do one long video and be here all day. I just don't have my ADHD brain doesn't really afford for that. But more importantly, I think it shows that if this could be opened and closed multiple times, you have a good quality product. And I also think, in all fairness, that it also shows that we should be able to feel comfortable opening these things up and closing them and making changes whenever we want to. That the improvement process of our retro handhelds never cease. We can, you know, if as new things come out, new better ways of improving it, you know, ideally we should change with those improvements. We shouldn't just stop. So we're just going to pretend that I just got this stuff a little bit at a time, as opposed to getting into one lump sum and dispersing it into thirds. That's how we're going to assume this. Alrighty, so let's do the bottom half first, because it seems less aggressive. It looks to be a lot of parts. I'm going to face it your way, not that it really matters which way is up. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here holding the shielding in. I see 1, 2 screws here for the switch, the power switch. I see another 1 screw here on the headphone jack, volume, wheel, PCB, as it were. There might be another thing underneath the shielding. I'm not entirely certain, so let's just start with the shielding and go from there. Oh, you know what? There we go. Come on. I'm going to put the shielding screws, because I'm assuming, I mean, they could be the same, but we're going to assume that they are different. I'm going to put the shielding screws in this little pocket right here. Let me get my tweezers again. I didn't think I'd need them, but I don't know why I thought that, because these things are itty-bitty, teeny-weeny. I'm going to get my sharp tweezers, the ones that literally have made me bleed once every video you've seen me use them. I cut it out because, you know, nobody wants to hear me. Oh, I'm bleeding now. I need a Band-Aid. Whew. These threads are tight. Now, I don't remember. I'm sure anybody that just came from the other video to watch this one remembers, because you just saw it, or anybody that's been on RetroSix's site, if they give me new screws for this, or if I'm reusing screws. So, you know, I think there's a great debate out there, like, I'm going to use this one, see if I can use this one. Yes. A great debate out there, you know, if one should upgrade their OEM stuff to this used stuff. I mean, if it's all busted and kids have ruined it, for sure, like, without a shadow of a doubt. But in this instance of, let's say, my super pristine Game Gear, should I be doing that? Well, the short answer for me is, yeah, it actually makes more sense to do so and use something that's not OEM, that's not official, that's not first party, to keep it pristine for forever. And then when I'm an old crunchy man, if I want to put these things on display, like put the Game Gear on display, I could reassemble it, because the shell that has been on it when it was originally crafted has not been on it for decades. I can swap it back on and have a beautiful, beautiful thing. I just want to be able to play this in my, you know, in my days. I don't want to look at it. That's not why I'm here. Oh, that's weird. It's like a little spot of oil. That's strange. Okay. So yeah, it did expose another screw here, just how there was one there, and then there's a screw here. It's all mirrored, basically. So let us start with the left side, since I'm left-handed. How about that? It looks to be that they are the same, but for any Sega purists, I'm going to set that over there. Yeah, so again, I don't remember if the RetroSix stuff comes with screws. I don't even know. I don't even remember if I finished that thought or if I went on another tangent. Come on, buddy. All right, so this piece is held in with, all right, come on. The little red switch is there. I'll put that with those. Woo, that's a wiggly little capacitor. How am I still being held in? There's this thing. Does this just come off? Oh, it's glued. I do remember that now. Or it's like not glued, but like a, what do you call it? Like some kind of adhesive, like a sticker. Am I doing this the right way? Probably not. Kind of really gotta use some spudgers and whatnot. There we go. That immediately made a difference. Hey, you guys, if you have one of these flat spudgers, this is the one. This is the way. Boom, 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 boom. Made a Mandalorian reference. I guess I could have made a Lion King reference. Rafiki will show you the way. Ah! Good grief. There we go. Okay. We needed to release that for the simple fact that it was the piece holding the whole modular piece in. I am going to take it off. I believe this is what replaces. This is what will be replaced by the Clean Power GG from RetroSix, because this will be a USB-C port. I'm going to put this right behind that because those are its screws, and I'll set that there too, because I think we reused that. Alright, how do these little buggers come free? Do you actually have to desolder? I will have to look into that. I'll take this half out, and then I'll go over to that iFixit website, because I believe that, I mean, I know that they sell parts as well, but if you weren't aware, they also have just some quick instructions on how to disassemble a lot of common things. I don't know if a Game Gear is on there or not, but presumably it would be. You know, all in all, I thought this would be pretty terrifying, and it looked like it was. Maybe the front half will be, I don't know, but so far this is pretty straightforward. Yeah, that just lifts out after the screws are out. So not to say we're done with the back half, but I'm going to look into this right quick, so I'm going to cut it right now. Okay, word on the street is I'm an idiot. You don't need to do any, you don't even need to take the shielding out. Although it is interesting that the shielding is larger in the original. How did that even go? It doesn't matter. The shielding was larger in the original. I like that, that's how it went. I'm not quite certain as to, I think it's just because it clips the top half down and they didn't feel that was necessary to do here. To answer the question, I couldn't find a single soul on the internet doing anything with these because they didn't need to. Yeah, so we're done with that half. I probably won't worry about getting the sticker and transferring it over. I want to keep this as OEM as possible, as I said before. With my Game Boys, I didn't bother with that because those were made in such greater numbers that I could easily get another OEM shell if I needed to that was pristine. So I definitely swapped the stickers onto my RetroSix shells for my Game Boys. And plus it says designed for Sega Game Gear, and it has the model number and the rating and the battery and the AC adapter readouts. So that's pretty cool. So we are done with the back half. Having said that, let's move on to the front half. Come on, buddies. Okay. Again, I'm going to keep it facing your way. And let's just jump right into this. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that are independently holding the board down. I then see 1, 2 holding down the high, 3, 4 holding down this high voltage warning plate, and then I see 1, 2 holding on to the cartridge reader itself. I don't know to what end. I'm guessing I have to take all of it off. I don't know if it's holding it into the PCB or if it's holding past the PCB into the shell. So what I'm going to do then is actually take out the ones that I could see that are visibly holding the PCB down and see if it lifts away. And if not, then I will work on these little silver ones. And then if that still doesn't do it, then I'll head to the big nuggets right there. So let's go. Put all the main PCB stuff here. This is the motherboard, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this goes a little bit smoother and faster than the other videos have so far, because I don't like to edit too much. I mean, I always like the outcome, but I don't ever like doing it. Who's that fella that his videos are whack? They're crazy. He wears like a ski mask, and like his videos are so always poorly lit, and like they're intentionally crappy. I'm guessing, or maybe he just doesn't give a shit, and just people just happen to watch out of pure content. That's not exactly what I'm going for. Obviously, I'm going to fix my 4K camera that I bought from Retro Wolf finally once and for all. I messed up the SD card slot, and yeah, here we are today using a cell phone again. The last two videos, like one of them I forgot to tell it 4K 60 frames a second, so hopefully this one actually looks nice. Okay, so we have those out. Let's see if the board lifts away. It does not, naturally. I didn't think it would. So now let's move on to these ones that are holding onto this silver bracket. Ooh, that's a squeaky sound. Man, this one is in such good condition. Like this Game Gear was definitely never used, man. Like they did not give a shit about this thing. Maybe it was gifted to them and like they only played it when that family member was around. All right, that's coming out, so I'm just gonna let that come out as one piece here in a moment. Can we get this one out? Yes. I wish I knew the story behind it. I'd love to... Oh, there's another screw from the main PCB. Oh man, please tell me that wasn't the only thing holding the board in. Okay. I'd always love to know the story behind these things, but it's damn near impossible. Even if like you find the person's name on it, like white kids are a dime a dozen, aren't we? Like you could probably find a bajillion people with that name, and especially because you don't know how many states it's, you know, been from or through. Okay, so caution, high voltage. Come on, buddy. All right, I don't think this piece is going to come out until we get this top piece off. Continuing on. I'll put those big nuggets right there. And then we'll put this all back in reverse order. God, this is exciting. Sega made this pretty easy, all things considered. Okay, so I needed to lift that up. Okay, so these things, I guess, just kind of stay positioned there, but you don't have to take them out to remove the board. So just take the screws out, but you don't have to pull the piece out, just the whole PCB itself. All right. Woo, lordy. So that's intense. Looks like the next step will be to lift the speaker away, get the screen out of here, and obviously the buttons. We'll do all the easy stuff right quick. All the buttons over here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a big, like, quart-sized Ziploc bag for all of the original parts and store it that way. Looks like there's a little bit of tape here holding down. Oh, you know what? The screen kind of just came away on its own a second ago. Holding down that little tiny frail cord that was there. And that's for the speaker. And that does not come away, so we'll figure that out in the next video. But this just totally lifted off. And the gasket, the seal is right there too. And that just comes off apparently. I don't know if it includes a speaker. I can't imagine that it does. We might have to lift this away. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here and just do some quick look on the RetroSix website to make certain that we need this, and if so, how we would get this. Okay, hold please. Okay, well the long and short of it is, I guess that there was an option to ask RetroSix for a speaker. And that did not happen. I didn't realize that the speaker was in the situation that it's in. I didn't realize that the speaker was in the situation that it's in. However, iFixit came through and they pointed out that these are just held in by melted plastic. Like literally they just melted it down. So there's any number of ways you could do this. You could literally just snap it off and get the speaker off. You could use flush cutters and cut away the plastic. You could use a Dremel and get into it by, you know, smoothing off the plastic that's holding it down, that's melted. This is the only OEM part that you cannot save, as it were. This piece right here is held in with plastic. The only way I could keep this OEM at this point is by not taking this off. So I'm in a predicament here. Do I do that and then, you know, break it away, use the speaker here? Or B, do I ask them for a speaker, or do I order one like locally? Because I have the part to replace this, but it won't be OEM for sure. I think, because what they said in the iFixit video is that you can just use like hot glue to glue this back down if you wanted to. And I think that I will do my best to keep this piece all one piece and not like Dremel it off or what have you, just to get that out, and then I'll keep. And that way in the future I could hot glue it or super glue it or whatever I want to do, maybe even just somehow remelt it. So off camera I'm going to worry about this because it's just something that's a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's the end of this. So I'm going to do that off camera. I do want to point out that if you wanted to keep your main thing and you were just replacing this, you actually could push through on these holes while heating it up, probably with a hairdryer. You could push from the back of these holes and it would give way on the front for you. Yeah, so give me a second. I'm gonna fiddle with this because I don't want to waste battery or storage on trying to figure out how I want to take this off as easily as possible. Here's to hoping. Okay, well, it was only 30 seconds. It didn't take any time at all, actually, and that's what I did. So I just used this guy. Since it tapers, it gets wider, I slid it underneath there and I rotated it using the leverage, and one of them popped off, and then I came to the middle and I did the same thing. I rotated it slowly, and then the whole thing went boing off camera, or off the table as it were. So yeah, it's pretty okay. That went a lot easier than I thought it was going to, so no qualms there with that. Couldn't be happier with the outcome. We are now done with the OEM shell. It is out of here. I'm going to put all the pieces together. And one thing here. That is all the pieces that I'm, oh, duh, and then these. Oh, that's so fun. There's like a little ball divot. And that. Huh. It's a good thing that I noticed that. They don't give you, they did not seem to give me any membranes, as it were. That's not to say that they don't supply them, so definitely if you intend on getting new buttons, you should probably either A, make certain you have good, clean membranes, or you should get some. You should get some buttons. I mean some membranes. Well, that is it for those bad boys. And to answer the question, oh no, I'm losing membranes. And to answer the question, yes, it comes with all new screws. I'm uncertain as to how many of them are for the, I mean, I guess, yeah. I know one screw is designed for the replacement of the speaker cover, the little piece that goes there, because you just screw into the screw hole. I do know that, so that is it for this guy. Au revoir. Alrighty. Oh, and this is being replaced. I do really like the red switch, but unfortunately, on the official red Game Gear, they use like a darker gray button type. So they gave me a dark gray power switch. I will use that. Alrighty, let me clean these up, and then I will cut this video, and then we'll actually start assembling stuff. Oh. There we go. My isopropyl alcohol is all the way over on the other side of the room. But don't worry, you took a trip with me because I have like a 30-foot long lavalier microphone cord. because I wanted to be able to put my camera, when it's fixed anyway, anywhere in my room and still be able to be heard. Come on. Oh, now it's all slippery and I can't flip it over. Really try not to lose these. These things are just, I mean, they're mighty clean already. I'm incredibly surprised as to how pristine this Game Gear was. No. Yes. This is the only part that's kind of dirty, like with the D-pad membrane, or rubbers as they call it in the UK. Come on, guys, we all know how that sounds. At least they don't call them Jimmy hats, right? That was a joke for the adults that are over the age of 30, that are from the East Coast. Alrighty. Oh yeah, and I won't be needing that piece either, so that's going to go by the by with the old parts. And this is also getting replaced. I found that they send a new piece over that's actually like full-on plastic instead of just like a thin thing. But I am going to touch this up. I have a little bit of extra isopropyl alcohol left on here, so why not? You never have too clean of a headphone jack. This doesn't really need it, but again, I still have some on here, so what would it hurt? Unless the bristles can do some damage. I don't know. I'm doing it gently, though. Hopefully nobody's screaming at me right now. If you're screaming, leave a comment down below, because it really helps the channel. Yank, yank. That's a reference for people over the age of 30. Now, seems to be that it left a little bit of residue. Oh. My guess is because this is not pure isopropyl alcohol. So, let me just buff that a little bit. Definitely clean the parts that I touch with my bare human oily fingers. Anybody know what the big gold pad is? That's pretty cool. Okay, I say let's start with the front half since we're already here. Let's see here. It looks to be that it goes there. That's right, because then it wraps around the outside edge of this. Outside edge of that, so that it can go to the top half as it needs to. Come on, buddy. I know it's your new home and you don't want to be here, but you gotta. Let's go ahead and take care of this little doohickey right now. The reason I left all those screws out is because A, I can compare the new screws and be like, oh, that one goes there, that was used for that, got it. And then B, I can empty this bag and use it for the screws. All right, so this is the new one. And it looks to be that, okay, first of all, the solder points clearly go down, seeing what I see now. Oh, there's a little notch there for it. Got it. Okay. It tells you how to line it up. There's a little peg here for this one to sit on, and then the other two have holes to screw a screw into. Or screws, I should say. Having said that, would I even know which screw it is? I know it's got to be something with a point on the end, not a flat end. And I see quite a few that are like that. That's disheartening at the least. I'm sure that there's a guide for this on RetroSix. I'm just kind of more of a balls to the wall kind of fella. I was trying to see if there's any two that were just two alone. But no, everything's got a brother except this one here that's a little half cut one that you probably can't see at all. Damn it! Let me reference the internet. Okay, so I looked through all the screws. There was one that was the odd man out, so I put him there. And then the other, there's a little stud, little post that you can push this half on, so it is very much in place. So that's good. At this point, we can drop the buttons in and the D-pad and then the membranes. There's a post here that I believe has to be cut away in order for us to put in the screen kit from the RetroKai.store. But since I'm not doing that in this video, I'm not going to worry about that post. But if you're wondering, that post is the one where the security screw goes in anyway, so no big deal there. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue here. Now, since I didn't get any of their membranes, this one it's incompatible the way that it is. There's like a ball there. Now we could take the ball out. Well, can we? Yes, we could take the bearing out of there and we're left with this, but this is still too much. If you look on the pictures of their replacement membranes, it doesn't have this whole middle piece because they have like a custom like ball pivot thing here, and it just doesn't work quite right. And maybe it might work, but it feels strange to me. So I'm literally just going to, well, here's probably what I'm going to do. Probably going to leave this as is and just continue with it like this and put it on there. And no, it's just too tall. Okay, well, no big deal there. We can clip that away. Of course, I don't have flush cutters handy. So let me put the rest of these buttons in and we will come back to that. We got our half button there. That's fun. And then these two are identical, right? They're just the same thing, just like Sega didn't care. I guess they are ever so slightly different. Okay, fun. That's fun. I just guessed correctly the first time. This, of course, is our power switch, which will be in the corner, right? Is that how that works? Doesn't matter. It looks like we don't need it quite yet, so we'll hold off on that. Let's put these membranes that are here in place. Fantastic. All right, give me one moment to get my little flush cutters, which are just out of reach. I'm not even flush cutters so much as they are just like little pliers, maybe? Well, I don't know. Somebody can tell me what these are actually called, because they're not exactly flush cutters. Flush cutters are like lower. They have a smaller profile, so. Just cutting a notch in between all four of the little other nuggets. I'm just going to peel it back now and just cut them away as low as I can. At some point I would love to just have some new ones, because obviously I'm hurting my OEM ones. And sure, that was my philosophy from before, but obviously everybody replaces membranes. Nobody cares about having OEM membranes. There we go. Much better. Now it rests where it should. Yes, yes, yes. Fantastic. Did I go lower? There you seems to be finding a little bit. Now on theirs, it's just a complete like empty hole. So I wonder if I should do that here as well. Alright. I won't know if it works out or not until the whole thing is reassembled. I'm guessing it's fine because, yeah, it seems to be seated okay. Alrighty. Now comes the quasi-trivial part of taking this way and then getting set the little gasket back in here. Can we do that? Oh, it's the other way. There's 3 little holes that sit on 3 little studs. Oh, and there's 2 studs up top too. I don't know if you could see it. I should probably turn it your way so that you can see all 5 of the little studs. But everything sets where it's supposed to. It does not come with a new one of these in your kit, so yeah. And this is not a sticker of any kind. It's just like a rubber gasket, as it were. Okay. We now have the LED, and that should go through here, so that kind of informs which way your stuff needs to go back together. So it'll be straight down like that. But let me use my little microfiber cloth first. And I'll do it again before I put the lens over the front of it. Come on, buddy. Yes, okay. So, get that out of here. Yes, okay. So we know already that this is gonna go, like, be plugged into something on the other half of the board. Should I bring this up and over? Gosh, I don't remember the exact, was it over? No, it was definitely around the posts. That's right. But I feel like, should I leave it like this? No, it has a little fold here, implying that it was down underneath that way. There we go. Okay. So now we'll be able to put the screws back here, and that should hold this stuff in place. I am going to check the buttons and whatnot. Oh, what the heck? Well, it just feels like they're loose. Why? Why do you feel like you're loose? The black side is the side that touches the board. No idea why it feels like it's loose. Why do you feel like it's loose? Why? What's the actual reason here? Am I missing something? Okay, I had my microphone plugged in. I have no idea if that last clip sounded not very good. I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. I was trying to figure out the whole membrane thing, and I don't know if it's just because theirs are different membranes that they supply from RetroSix to match up with their buttons the same way that they have one that's specific to match up with their D-pad. I feel like that's something they would have mentioned to me, but I did compare it to the original D-pad, and it does look like the post on the inside of the button is like lower than this. I could be wrong, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna obviously button it up and everything, and when I put it all back together, if it feels right, like once it's all like tight and screwed together, maybe it'll make sense, right? So I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I did have a boo-boo when I was like messing around with it, where the the 2 ends of the speaker came unsoldered, and so I resoldered them really quickly, and I didn't want to run into that again, so I gave them extra length by just running it above the board, and I pinched the cord between 2 of these leaning components, let's just call them that, instead of it going the long way around and then going underneath and coming up, and I wanted to gain some extra length so I didn't run into that issue again. So we're going to put this all back together. I am going to use original screws though. That's the thing I figured out, that you don't have to take these 4 little tiny screws out. I'm sure somebody said that in the beginning. These ones that go into the silver bracket there. I believe that those could stay in, because it looked like when I took it out that all they were doing was holding the screen in place. So I think all you have to do is take out those outside edge screws and then these 2 that are holding the cartridge reader in place. You don't want to over tighten anything when you're screwing it in devices. If it's in and snug, that's it. You don't over tighten it, especially when you're using new plastics that you're tapping threads into. Now I don't know if the screws here are the same thread depths as those, if they're a coarse thread or a fine thread. I don't know. I'm just going to use the original things the way that I know what I'm doing, right? I know what's for what. And I lost it. So since you've already seen me take the screws out, I'm going to skip this part and pop into where I already have the screws in. Okay, that's all together. Everything worked. This post was ever so slightly not aligned, and so I kind of had to put the screw in at an angle and start tightening it, and then it like aligned itself. It was the last screw as well, but yeah. So also the buttons are fine now. The D-pad, on the other hand, I think I need to get some of the membrane. So hopefully they arrive by the time I do the other videos. If not, I'm not going to make a whole video just of me swapping out a D-pad membrane. You get it. It'll just be a different one that's made to fit this. We'll move on. Let's do the back half. So obviously, if you buy yourself buttons from RetroSix, just make sure you just get new membranes. What are they? I see them on screen over there. They're like $3. $3. Just don't worry about doing things that just because you want to save some of the old parts. Just don't save the $3. Oh, and the last piece of the front half is that the little gray nugget that was protecting the port can be replaced with a little red nugget to protect the port. Do you go this way? Or do you go the other way? Oh, you go the other way. Yes. Beautiful. Power. All right, so let's go ahead and start by putting in the volume wheel and headphone jack. It'll be kind of hard. It's so tight over here. I will use this to help me align it. Tapping the threads into these posts is never fun because you don't want to overdo it, but you also like get so tired twisting so delicately with strength, if you know what I mean. If you've ever had to put in new screws into a untapped post before, you know exactly what I mean. Your wrists and forearms start to get real tired after a hot second. And plus this thin little wispy screwdriver I'm using doesn't exactly cut the mustard. Not over tightening, just making sure the board stays in place. That it does. Cool. Now let's get into this Clean Power GG. It has one portion of the battery contacts as well as a USB-C port. And the new power switch. Nice and crispy. So this should very easily set on this hole, and these clip into there. Wow, that was too simple. Doesn't appear to be terribly flush. Yeah. It would be cool if that was color matched, but I understand why it's not. Okay, now let's also put in this power switch. There's only one way it can go. You just gotta have smaller fingers than I do. Okay, it looks like you need to put the power switch on before you slide this all the way down. Come on, bucko. That was a scary sound. Damn it. I am showing you the intricacies of real human interaction with this. Not the stuff where you just watch videos that are so perfect and have no mistakes. There we go. Okay. That has settled. Try one more time. Okay, there we go. So you put the power switch on there gently, keep it in place, and then you drop it into place, and it just goes right in. There are two different orientations the power switch can go. Only you can figure it out. Only you can figure it out. So the point of the clean power here is twofold. One, obviously you can put AA batteries in here still, and it'll utilize them better. And then B, you have that USB-C port now. So instead of using a barrel jack from the official one that's hard to find, or harder to find, you can use your Nintendo Switch USB cord. Or if you already have a USB-C cord in the house somewhere, you can use that. And you could just play from the wall. And not really need to burn through AA batteries. Alright, that's looking better. So that's the end of that. That's literally the whole backside. I'm going to peel this off. This is the new weird plastic thing that was on the old one. This one's actual, like, hard plastic, though. There we go, finally. And there's only one orientation that this can go. And it's like that, and just give it a quick press, and that keeps it further locked in. It keeps the contacts also from letting dust in as easily, I'm sure. Well, that's it for the backside. So I'm going to cut this here. Problem solved. It was the it was the shielding that we don't need to screw on here because there's already a shielding on here. We just got to connect this stuff back together now, and then we are A1. Flip that over gently because that is the speaker cord. The most delicate part of the whole thing was the speaker, which is the easiest to replace. This goes here. Come on, bucko. Doesn't it go there? Yep, that's where it goes. Those little studs line up. Groovy. And then same here, there's two little notches that go into the bracket on the other side. Fantastic. Okay. By golly, she's looking beautiful. We're nearly complete, you guys. Nearly complete. I feel like I don't even need the screwdriver for this. I can just use the bit freehand. Nope, because you got to tap the threading. Okay. But it is surprisingly easier on a larger screw than it is the smaller screws. Okay. putting in all the outside ones first. And then I'll put in the ones that are in the battery compartments. Yeah, I thought about it. The more I thought about it, the more I'm just going to get the new membranes for sure. I'm not going to have a whole video updating that. Just take my recommendation. Get the membranes when you get the buttons. Good grief. I was saying, what is that? But it's because on the original Game Gear case, apparently on the back it's just some threading. Maybe it's for like a battery. I don't know, because this is like the thing where you can have the extra stuff clamped on the backside and snapped in place. I really don't know what that threading's for. I'm sure it's something that's so uncommon, that's why they didn't even bother to put it in here. I do wonder how possible it is to unseat it out of the old back and then place it in this one, or if it's even possible to do so. Good gravy! Shredding my screwdriver. Yeah, I know I need better ones, but you know what? Cheap is cheap. Things I order always seem to come with screwdrivers, so why not use them, huh? Alright, so that's where I'm going to cut this one. I'm going to put the last of these screws in and fight with them. And then the last snippet will be us putting the lens on. Alright, the screws are in. This is flipped over. Let's go ahead and put the lens on. I don't have a can of air nearby. Gonna buff oh yes I do. Well, within reach. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Yeah, we will peel this 3M away. I think it was supposed to be one piece, but whatever. That was cut. We got that. Use some very fine tweezers here to get that up. Okay, it's too fine. It literally split it in half. Come on, buddy. Got it. Turn it your way. Turn it your way. Ooh, that is very sticky. Hold on. Let me start from this corner, then the one I can actually frickin' see. Because once it's in, it is not coming out. I'm just going to give it a few presses. Holy crap. I don't even want to touch it. That is unbelievable. Yeah, I have batteries in there. I don't think it's going to work. No, I even have the cartridge in there. It's still doing the lines. Let's see if I can hear anything. Nope. Anyway, no big deal. We're not done yet. That's just part one where we swap out the shell. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a blast. Have a good day, because you have earned it.